Alright, hello everybody. I am back for hole number 3 here. We are setting up, and you see I'm putting on, decent driver. Going with Thor or Apocalypse is going to be pretty helpful for this hole. For the second shot, I think, your sniper is going to be good enough, keeping that high accuracy. And the one thing that I do want to mention, the only real reason I use sniper is just because the masses pretty much, don't have a hammerhead 6 or 7. If you have a hammerhead 6 or 7, go ahead and make this swap here. It's going to be, in my opinion, especially the extra yard and topspin, turns this into a better club. I think hammerhead, that's, if I wasn't on video and I was doing my own thing, I'd be using hammerhead over sniper 99%. So the only real reason that I do put sniper on my bag on the holes that we can use it is kind of for your guys' benefit. So we're all on the same page and you're not seeing me able to get to certain lengths otherwise. You don't want to put yourself close to that max distance number, and then if you had hammerhead on, you would have had an extra 3 yards would have been, which would be about an equivalent of 3 extra rings. So you'd have to, go into power towards the max sniper, whereas you might not have to with hammerhead. So that's one of the biggest factors. Top spin's really not going to come into play here. It could come into play on, say, for instance, if you wanted to put hammerhead on your bag for number 9 and lay up. That could be a useful par 5 where it could come into effect on that hole. So the one thing that I do want to mention about all the par 5s from what I've seen, the tee shots play downhill. So make sure you're counting some extra rings. The shot that you're going to see me do here is going to be very safe. And if you don't quite have my topspin, you might just have to kind of cut the corner a little bit more and kind of land it up here a little bit longer. You're going to see me land it kind of spot on where this guy is, but I would recommend, if you had a 5, for example, hit landing more towards max right there. Whereas I don't have to land towards max. So you can see where that guy's setting up, where max is. And you can see how it's angled into the face. So to hit it into max, you actually have to add some power. You can see as he's pulling it over about how much. It's about 3 or 4 extra rings into power. So it looks like he's doing maybe about 2 extra rings. So he's definitely going to be well short. But of course, I don't even have to get that aggressive. The only thing I worry about, his next shot is being towards max power. And that's one of the reasons that I'd say, landing it a little bit longer can be more beneficial. But when you have an Apoc 7 with the extra topspin, I'm not going to have to hit that shot. But I would recommend, if you do, I would recommend, going into power a little bit. Make sure you're just doing kind of an overcorrection with your rings. Here you're going to see me go 10 rings for a 10 wind. And usually I'd curl it, but I'm not going to do that here. And you can see I'm right towards max here. 10 rings, like I said. I would usually, like I said, curl this to the left. But I can see, just kind of the way that the wind's angled, that, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to curl it to the left, because the ball already has enough side wind to kind of push it over there in all instances. And you can see how much I outdrove that guy. Some of it has to do with the topspin, but some of it also has to do with where he landed it just a little bit shorter. He could have went into a little bit more power with an Apoc 5. And the shot that I like to do here, which I really recommend, is kind of almost exactly how he's setting up here. So you can see he's at about 6 backspin now. I do highly recommend going at this hole with a backspin shot. And you can see with the wind that they gave us that the trees are basically going to be out of play, which is a nice thing to see. And there you're seeing him go about 10 rings. That's relatively spot on. I didn't see the way that he was originally setting up for that shot, but because you can see, you know, you need to make sure that you're accounting for all the ball guide changes in addition to your shots. So here you see I am pretty close to min sniper. And there you're going to see, you know, I'm always going to kind of side spin it and back spin it kind of as much as possible. In addition to that, you're going to see me, you know, start my adjustment way up here kind of in long and right land over here before I even start. And you see I am towards min club. So you're going to only see me play 9 rings here as opposed to the usual 10 that you might need to go. And let's see if I can't get this ball going towards the hole here. Give it a nice chance, and just outside. So almost had that. It was within a cup. And you can, that shot alone, you know, really shows you how the ball guide compresses. Because you saw where I started it, it was, you know, way back there, you know, 3 green grids kind of long into the right there. And, you know, I still went full rings. You know, I played kind of a 1.1 per ring adjustment, which is pretty spot on because you saw I was towards min club. So, oh wow, this is interesting. So here you're going to see me do similarly, and kind of, if you watch my last tutorial, kind of what I just mentioned about, you know, landing zone. I'm just going to kind of, you know, since I'm at min, I'm going to basically just treat it as, you know, I've already went 6 rings here. And just not even factor it in. And, you know, I would usually probably only go maybe about 9 rings for this wind. And since it's so angled, I am going to, you know, give it a little bit of extra momentum to get down this hill. There you see, landing it on the fringe. Just kind of utilizing the slope a little bit. You want to make sure that you don't stop it short. So that's what you see me doing there to get it somewhat reasonably. And like I said, you know, and this kind of goes to show you kind of what you need to do with a landing zone, because there you saw me hit the fringe and it's still a little bit long. Kind of like I mentioned, if you do use quarterback, if you watch my last hole guide, that you're going to need to land it on the fairway if you want it to be perfect power. It has to land right, you know, towards the fringe edge, and you're just kind of going to have to do it visual method. So I'm glad that we kind of got a similar tournament wind here. Granted, it's not straight in the face like the actual tournament shot, but I think this, you know, tiebreaker is kind of a good indicator for you guys, just to be able to see kind of a, you know, estimation technique being used, where, you know, I'm just looking at the shot and say, oh, well, I've already gone 6 rings, so I don't need to move those, and then I'll just add on, you know, an extra 2.5. So that'll give you guys a good sense of seeing that. And I think when you actually, if you need to, you know, have a kingmaker on your actual hole number 2 shot, you're going to be more inclined to be able to figure out what needs to be done. So good luck with that hole. And we are going to set up for hole number 4. And I'll see you guys there.